Right now, you understand food safety. You check expiration dates. Your meals are sterile, washed, and safely locked inside a glowing refrigerator. But go back 100,000 years. No refrigerators existed. No expiration dates existed. No fire existed to cook every meal. No safety standards protected them. They faced rotting flesh. They faced discarded, decaying bone marrow left by predators. They faced deadly bacteria. And yet early humans did not go extinct. How did our ancestors survive the most toxic, deadly meals on Earth? Early humans were not the kings of the world. They were not the apex predators we imagine today. They were prey. They were weak. The forest was vast. The predators were fast. And the night was completely unforgiving. Darkness fell. Hunger arrived. They waited. To a caveman, an empty belly was never just a minor inconvenience. It was a ticking clock. It was the slow, agonizing threat of certain death. They felt the cold wind. They heard the deep, guttural roars of lions in the tall grass. They heard the wolves tearing warm flesh in the distance. They smelled fresh blood on the breeze, but that blood was not theirs to claim. They could not hunt the giant beasts. They did not have the claws. They did not have the fangs. They only had fear. And they had starvation. A starving man does not think about pride. A starving mother does not think about glory. They only think about survival. Days passed without a kill. Muscles grew incredibly weak. The tribe watched the shadows. They watched the real hunters feast. They saw the great cats rip into meat. They saw the wild dogs crack bones. And when the roars finally faded, when the brutal predators walked away with full stomachs, silence returned to the bloody dirt. That was when the desperate humans crept out from the dark trees. They did not walk toward a fresh hunt. They walked toward the rotting remains. They walked toward what the monsters had left behind. They found the abandoned carcass. They saw the torn flesh. They saw the shattered bones. They smelled the heavy, sickening stench of rotting meat. They knew the meat was old. They knew the flies had found it first. They knew it was covered in dirt, in saliva, and in pure decay. To us, this is absolute poison. To us, this is a deadly biohazard, but to them, it was the very last option. Put yourself in their exact place. You stand in the freezing, bloody mud. Your stomach is completely empty. Your children are too weak to even cry. Do you walk away and starve with dignity? Or do you fall to your knees and eat the toxic, decaying scraps? They chose to live. They tore at the leftover meat. They cracked open the bloody bone marrow. They chewed on the rotting muscle that the wild beasts had abandoned days ago. They swallowed death just to stay alive. By every rule of modern biology, this specific choice should be completely fatal. A meal like this is crawling with lethal pathogens. The bacteria multiplying rapidly inside that carcass should have triggered severe disease. It should have wiped out the entire tribe overnight. Logically, the rotting flesh should have killed them before the starvation ever did. But they did not die. The infected meat did not destroy them. Something deep inside their fragile bodies silently fought back. A true biological miracle was waiting, hidden in a place no one would ever expect. Look past the freezing dirt. Look past the blood on their bare hands. The true miracle was not happening on the outside. It was happening deep inside the human belly. We look at ourselves today and see a fragile creature. We see a clean, delicate omnivore that needs cooked food to survive. But nature did not build our ancient ancestors to be delicate. Nature built a weapon inside them. Deep within the human stomach lies a brutal, unforgiving environment. The acidity level inside us sits an astonishing pH of 1.5. This is not normal. Look at the gentle primates in the trees. Look at the peaceful plant eaters grazing in the fields. They do not have this burning fire inside their bodies. Now look up at the dark sky. Look at the vultures circling dead, rotting carcasses. Look at the terrifying creatures born to eat pure decay, the obligate scavengers of the wild. We share our internal chemistry not with monkeys, but with them. Our stomachs are frighteningly similar to the most ruthless scavengers in nature. This extreme burning acid was not a biological accident. It was merciless firewall. When the starving human swallowed the rotting meat, the bacteria invaded. When he consumed the infected, discarded bone marrow, the pathogens entered his fragile body. But they met a primordial acid bath. The acid purged the disease. It burned away the lethal threats. It utterly destroyed the microscopic monsters hiding in the scavenged bones. Our ancient ancestors did not die, purely because their fragile bodies had quietly evolved a remarkably violent hidden biological defense. To the modern mind, biology is medicine. To them, biology was a weapon of mass destruction against a toxic world. They survived because they carried the stomach of a vulture inside human bodies. Because that burning acid destroyed the fatal sickness, the fragile body could finally absorb the energy. That disgusting disgusting, rotting meat became fuel. That bloody, scavenged bone marrow became the strict foundation of our future. Our ancient ancestors did not just eat to stop the hunger, they ate to evolve. The extreme acidity in their stomachs was not a random trait. It evolved specifically to adapt. It acted as a shield, protecting the delicate human microbiome from constant, deadly pathogen exposure in a brutally harsh, unforgiving environment. It filtered out the heavy poison of the wild. And because they survived the poison, they lived to see another cold sunrise. Because they lived, the small tribe continued. They grew stronger, they grew smarter. Look at the immense contrast. On one side, you have the absolute filth of a scavenged carcass, the mud, the flies, the sickening stench of decay. On the other side, you have the magnificent survival of our entire species. The great intelligence we possess today was not born in a sterile, safe laboratory. It was bought with blood. It was bought with primal desperation. We finally conquered the earth simply because we were the most resilient scavengers left alive. Tonight, when you open your glowing refrigerator, look at your food. You understand safety. You trust the sterile, clean meals sitting on your table. But as you eat, remember the dark forest. Remember the freezing mud. Every safe bite you take today, and every single beat of your heart, carries their violent biological mark. They swallowed pure disgust so that you could sit in comfort. They turned the toxic decay of a brutal world into the exact foundation of human existence. We are not the grand descendants of fearless, victorious kings. We are the children of the desperate. Without their terrifying meals, none of us would be here. We owe them everything.